Welcome dear doctors, welcome to 𝗖𝗵𝗵𝗺. We are discussing gastrointestinal tract infections and this is our class number 3. Okay. In this class we are going to discuss about the Clostridium, and Clostridium basically if you talk about GIT, the only two Clostridia which are important are Clostridium botulinum and difficile, but I will teach you Clostridium perfringens and Clostridium tetani also here. Although Perfringens mostly responsible for causing the gas gangrene and tetani responsible for causing the tetanus are the musculoskeletal disorders. So, if you are preparing for GIT, you might skip this part, but if you are preparing for musculoskeletal, when we will study the musculoskeletal system, I will give you the link of this video in description and you have to come here and watch this again. I am Dr. Perv, your microbiology faculty and mentor. Let us start with the Clostridium. So, my dear friends, in the class when we discussed bacillus, I told you that in gram-positive rods there are spore formers which are bacillus and Clostridia, but the bacillus for that matter is oxygen positive, that means it grows in aerobic media, whereas the Clostridia does not require oxygen, so it grows in the anaerobic media. Motility, remember all are motile except Clostridium perfringens. So, perfringen is just like Perfringens, right? So, I am non-motile. If I will be motile, I will go out of the class. I am non-motile, okay? So, all Clostridia are motile except me, Perfringens, who is sitting in front of you talking to you, okay? All are non-capsulated, all do not have capsule, but I am having capsule, okay. So, can you see a capsule around me that is making me sit inside this chair and not moving here and there? Yes. So, Perfringens is capsulated, others are non-capsulated. Now, because I am anaerobic, because Clostridia is anaerobic, which culture media you will use? You will use all the anaerobic culture media. Example of one of the anaerobic culture media is Robertson cooked meat media. But my dear friends, my dear children, can you tell me what are the other anaerobic culture media? I will wait for you in the comment section. Okay. Remember, now we will start one by one. Clostridium botulinum, that is responsible for GIT. Clostridium botulinum releases a toxin that is called as botulinum toxin, and that is a exotoxin, and that's a very potent toxin. I have already told you in general microbiology that it is the most powerful exotoxin, and specifically it is a neurotoxin. The mnemonic is ABC, that means Clostridium botulinum releases a toxin that inhibits acetylcholine, inhibits the release of acetylcholine, that leads to, so if acetylcholine is not released, that means the muscle cannot function. That is why please remember that there will be muscle paralysis which is going to happen. What are the different forms of Clostridium botulinum? One is the wound botulinum, that means that this is being released with the wound botulism. Other one is foodborne botulism, by the ingestion of the food you are getting the botulism. Then other can be infant botulism, okay. So, in India specifically there is a tradition that to the young ones we give honey. I belong to a Punjabi family, we call it as chatti, okay. So, chatti deni hai kakke nu. This is how we speak, right? India is a very beautiful land of diverse cultures. So, that is the first feed, you know, that is given. Earlier it was given, but nowadays it is not given, okay. So, that used to have Clostridium spores in that, and that used to cause botulinum, okay, botulism it used to cause. So, what are the different symptoms? The symptoms are all starting with D. So, remember C, A, B, C, D. So, C for Clostridium, B for botulism, C for clinical features from D. What is D? Okay. D for diplopia, double vision, dysarthria. Okay, I will write this for you. Dysarthria. Dys means painful, arthria means joint, so the joints will become painful. Dysphagia, not able to digest or eat properly, painful eating. Decrease deep tendon reflexes. You must have read in physiology what are deep tendon reflexes. So, the deep tendon reflexes, okay, I'll write deep tendon reflexes are decreased. And there is descending paralysis. Now, descending paralysis means if I go from mouth to the foot, first of all, who is going to have paralysis? Your mouth will be having paralysis, then hand muscles will have paralysis, then leg muscles will have, so descending type of paralysis. If it is an infant botulism, then what is infant going to have? The infant, there is no release of acetylcholine because of botulinum, as I have told you that it inhibits the acetylcholine release. The baby becomes floppy. The baby becomes floppy because of the honey. You remember the source is honey and the baby is becoming floppy. So, how will you treat it? The treatment for botulinum. So, always remember this is P penicillin. If I just give one more stroke, it becomes B. So, remember the treatment of botulinum is going to be P, that is penicillin. But yes, antitoxins are given more than the penicillin. So, this is about the Clostridium botulinum. Okay, alright. Coming on to, okay, culture I have told you, gram stain I have told you, so laboratory diagnosis you can write it very well. Okay, I'll just tell you in brief the laboratory diagnosis, how to remember this. So, first of all, specimen, obviously the specimen is going to be a GI specimen, either the stool specimen or vomitus. Then after that you have got microscopy, okay. So, light microscopy you will use, okay. Then you have got stain, so you will do it in the gram stain, and this is a gram positive bacilli. Then after staining, what you will use? Culture. So, I have told you all the anaerobic culture media you can use. Then after that, ELISA, PCR, okay, BACTEC, antimicrobial susceptibility testing, okay. Then some serological tests other you can perform, then biochemical tests you can perform, okay. So, my dear friends, while writing anything, these are the headings you have to remember, okay. All these tests you can perform. Coming on to Clostridium difficile. Now, difficile is happening because of consumption of drugs. Which drugs? Antibiotics. So, D for difficile, D for drugs. So, difficile is occurring because of drugs, and which drugs? Antibiotics. So, difficile causes antibiotic associated membranous, no, pseudomembranous colitis. Pseudomembranous colitis means this is your colon. The colon will have the inflammation, okay. Pseudomembranous, it is not a membranous inflammation, it looks as if there is a membrane which has come here. So, pseudomembrane colitis is something which happens. Let me check if I have got a picture of pseudomembrane. No, I don't have. Okay, I'll share the picture. You ask me in the comment, I'll share. Okay. So, which antibiotics? Just like clindamycin, cephalosporin and aminopenicillin. Okay. So, please remember clindamycin, cephalosporin and aminopenicillin. The mnemonic is clinda. So, A for aminopenicillin, clinda itself is the drug, and C for cephalosporin, and especially the third generation cephalosporin. Now, difficile has A, B, C, D. So, what is CD? C for clinda, which I have already told you. Okay, if you leave it. So, C for Clostridium, D for difficile, A, B are the toxins. So, toxin A and toxin B. Now, B and C are together. So, toxin B is cytotoxic. It kills the cell, cytotoxic. Whereas toxin A is enterotoxin, it goes to the GIT and causes GIT problems like colitis. So, how will you detect? So, you have to detect the toxins. So, toxins are detected by ELISA and PCR, but in order to check for the pseudomembrane colitis, you have to insert the colonoscope to see the pseudomembrane. And once you see the pseudomembrane with the help of colonoscopy, the diagnosis is clearly in front of you. That is nothing else but the Clostridium difficile. So how will you treat? So either you treat it with the help of vancomycin, metronidazole, or what will you do? You will use the fecal microbiota transplant in the resistant cases. So either you will use vanco, or you will use metronidazole, or you will do a fecal microbiota transplant. That means you will take the microbes in the feces of healthy individual and will transfer to the patient. Why, sir? Why is it so? My dear friends, what was happening? You were consuming cephalosporin, you were consuming the clindamycin, you were consuming the aminopenicillin, and what you did, you know, you killed the good bacteria which were there already present. You know, everybody is having some healthy bacteria, common cells. So you killed those bacteria. Now, because those bacteria were killed, the bad bacteria like Clostridium difficile, they started growing. So now what will we do? We will extract the good microbes from the feces of the healthy individual and will give it to the patient. Okay. So either you kill the difficile by using what? Now is itself a mnemonic. Van, that's a transport. Metro, that's a transport, right? Or you transport the good microbes. This is the way to get over from the Clostridium difficile. Coming on to Clostridium perfringens, my dear. Now, Perfringens is a flesh-eating bacteria. You can remember it with my name, Perfringens. Just like I am eating your brain, the video dada who is sitting behind the camera, he is also very, he is also like, oh my God, how much this man speaks. He is eating the flesh of my brain. Huh? So, flesh-eating bacteria, right? So, perv is a flesh-eating bacteria. But again, is this if I'm not eating the flesh of your brains, we can't function, because microbiology is important, and for Dada and me, earning is important. So definitely we are eating the flesh of each other, right? So Clostridium perfringens now. So Clostridium perfringens has got different serotypes. Just like me, I have got different roles to play. I'm a teacher in front of you. I'm a student when I sit in the library. Similarly, Perfringens has got a lot of serotypes. A, B, C are the most important ones. Okay. So in India, it used to be a tradition that whenever we used to call, the wives used to call the husband, she used to say, 𝗲𝗔, sunte ho kya? Okay. So A and G come together. So serotype A is responsible for causing the gas gangrene, Ag. Okay. It is responsible for causing the gas gangrene. Okay. B for necrotizing enterocolitis. Now can you see that this is the B1 which is actually responsible for causing the necrotizing enterocolitis. That means it is also somehow destroying the colon, necrotizing enterocolitis. And C is responsible for causing the 𝗵𝗵𝗿. 𝗵𝗵𝗿 is enteritis necroticans. So A is responsible for causing gas gangrene, B is responsible for causing necrotizing enterocolitis, C is responsible for causing 𝗵𝗵𝗿, that is enteritis necroticans. Okay. So what are the diseases they are going to cause? One is the gas gangrene. What is gas gangrene? So remember, it is the death of the muscle. Okay, it is the death of the muscle. It can also cause the death of the fascia, that is called as necrotizing fasciitis. It can also cause the necrosis of the cells of colon and intestine. Enteron means the gut and colon is itself there. So necrotizing enterocolitis. Okay. And one more is the 𝗵𝗵𝗿. So remember why we call it as 𝗵𝗵𝗿, because P for Perfringens, P for pig and P for 𝗵𝗵𝗿 disease. That means if you eat contaminated pork or contaminated sweet potato, it leads to 𝗵𝗵𝗿. Okay. So gas gangrene, necrotizing fasciitis, necrotizing enterocolitis, 𝗵𝗵𝗿, everything. Now you only tell me, will it be motile or non-motile? I am non-motile. I am capsulated or non-capsulated? Capsulated. Now I always tell this to my students, I am an alpha male, okay. So which toxin? Alpha toxin, or you can remember PARV, A for alpha. So this is a alpha toxin. And if I write alpha, you can easily see L for lecithinase, L for lecithinase. So my dear friends, alpha toxin is nothing else but the lecithinase. So it is going to kill the lecithinase, kill the lecithin, which is actually present. Where it is present? Lecithin. Yes, lecithin is present in the cell membranes. So if the lecithin is killed, the cell membrane is killed, that leads to what? Hemolysis. Okay. So it leads to hemolysis. But why I call myself as an alpha male, alpha teacher? Because I will make sure that you reach your targets, my dear friends. So the hemolysis which is happening is a target or a double zone hemolysis which is happening because of Clostridium perfringens. I'll repeat it. So perv, A for alpha toxin. Alpha has got L word in it, L for lecithinase. It is going to kill the lecithin, so the cell membrane will not function and it can undergo hemolysis, and because I will make you achieve your targets, the hemolysis is called as target hemolysis. Coming on to the culture test. So remember one thing, that is reverse CAMP test is positive. Okay. What is CAMP test and what is reverse CAMP, we will discuss, and the link of the CAMP test I will put in the description. You can watch it later, right? The next part is, it is responsible for stormy fermentation of litmus milk. Okay. So what happens in the milk, right? It has got lactose. So Clostridium perfringens can ferment that and there will be a stormy appearance. So stormy fermentation of the litmus milk will be there. And the third one is the Naegler's reaction for lecithinase. Okay. So what happens? See here, Naegler's reaction for lecithinase. I have told you that this Clostridium perfringens is responsible for production of lecithinase. Okay. It is responsible for production of lecithinase. So my dear friend, please understand, if I give the antitoxin, that means alpha toxin. Okay, if I give the antitoxin, that means alpha toxin will not be produced. The lecithinase activity is not going to be there. The lecithinase activity is not going to be there. Okay, so remember, the bacteria is going to grow where the bacteria is going to grow, where there is no antitoxin. So for example, if I take a media and divide it into two halves, on one side I put this is the side where I have put the antitoxin, okay, and here I have not put the antitoxin. This is a egg-based media, okay, there is a egg-based media. So where the bacteria will grow, if I just try to have the growth of bacteria here and here, there where I have applied the antitoxin, there will be no bacteria, whereas bacteria will be grown here. Okay, so this is the bacteria. Now this bacteria will release lecithin, okay, and this lecithin, because the media was egg based, this lecithin is going to kill the egg based media. Okay, the egg is having lecithin and the lecithin is acting, so there will be release of gas. So where there will be release of gas? Here there will be the release of gas. This is called as Naegler's reaction. For your MCQ purpose, my dear friends, please remember me. Okay, please remember me, and then you will remember that, oh, our sir used to give good reactions. Naegler's reaction is one of them. Okay, I am an antitoxin to you, na? I am an antitoxin, na? So please remember it with my name. Okay, so what is the treatment? P for perfringens, P for penicillin. P for perfringens, P for penicillin, and obviously antitoxin is required for the growth of these bacteria. Coming on to Clostridium tetani. Okay, So Clostridium tetani, remember, it has got a drumstick appearance. As I've told you that all the Clostridium are motile, okay, except Perfringens. But one important thing, Clostridium tetani is motile for sure, except one, and this one is the type 6, which is non-motile, okay. So remember, Clostridium tetani has got two T's, T-E-T-A-N-I. Clostridium tetani has got two T's, and if I just pick up those two T's, it behaves like a drumstick. So this is drumstick appearance showing bacteria, okay. And if you know, drums are very, the drums, the big set of drums, right? So drums has got 6 parts, one what you call it as drum, then two toms, then two claps. It has got 6 parts. So if you want to play that drum, especially the 6th set or the 6th part of the drums, you have to stand there still, sit there and then play. So remember, the Clostridium tetani, first of all, it shows drumstick appearance and everyone is motile, but if you want to play that 6th set of drums, okay, so type 6, that is going to be non-motile, my dear friends, that is going to be non-motile. And suppose you are playing the drum, dum dum chick dum dum, and you punctured the drum, what does that mean? That means that the Clostridium tetani is going to enter, the spores are going to enter with the punctured wound. Wherever there will be puncture, the spores are going to enter. And I have discussed with you in great detail that these tetani are responsible for production of tetanospasmin. Let us revise that concept. I told you, for example, if some muscles are in action and continuously in action, they will undergo spasm. This will have the release of GABA or glycine, and this GABA and glycine are going to inhibit the muscle and the muscle will be relaxed. So what tetanospasmin do? It kills the GABA and glycine. So there will be no inhibition, no inhibitory substance released, and there will be no inhibitory response to the muscle. So there will be no relaxation of the muscle and there will be spasmodic muscle. The muscle will be in spasm. So tetanospasmin blocks the GABA, blocks the glycine release. It leads to spastic paralysis, okay. And similarly, one more thing, tetanolysin is also produced, but mainly it is tetanospasmin. So you have to remember tetanospasmin. So what are the clinical features? Trismus, that is locked jaw. I'm not smiling, I'm just telling you how does the jaw looks like. Locked jaw. And rhizus sardonicus, happy, always happy. Opisthotonus. Opisthotonus means there will be hyperreflexia, arching. The person will be like this. Okay, this is the head, this is the feet. Hyperreflexia, arching, okay, just a yoga posture like thing. That is why, my dear friends, it is very important whenever you think you are in contact of a rusty iron, of soil, please get yourself vaccinated for tetanus, otherwise you will be in persistent smile, okay, right. So what is the treatment? Obviously antitoxin, obviously penicillin is the treatment, penicillin, and then tetanus immunoglobulin. In childhood, you must have got the tetanus vaccine at 5 years of age, okay, of tetanus toxoid, okay. But for example, if you are having the wound, it's very important to understand that how many doses of tetanus are given, although this is a major domain of the people of PSM, but whatever comes under my domain of microbiology, I'll teach you, remember. So please understand, if the wound is a clean wound, okay, you will have to check the history, okay. If the person has received the vaccine in the past, okay, within 10 years, okay, in less than 10 years, okay, the last dose was given in less than 10 years and the wound is clean, then you are not supposed to give any vaccine, okay. If the patient has not received the vaccine, or you can say the last dose is unknown, I mean he is not aware that if he has got the vaccine or not, you have to give the vaccine. But one more thing is, if the last dose was more than 10 years old, you have to give the vaccine. Okay? And even if the patient has not received any vaccine, then also you have to give the vaccine if the wound is clean. But if the wound is dirty, my dear friend, okay, so this was about the clean wound, okay. But for example, if the wound is dirty wound, you have to check that if the vaccine was given in 5 years ago. If the patient has received the vaccine 5 years ago and now is having the dirty wound, there is no need to give the vaccine, okay. But if he has not received vaccine within 5 years, no vaccine in 5 years, then you have to give the vaccine, okay. And if the patient is having dirty wound, not only give the vaccine but also add the tetanus immunoglobulins, okay. And even if the patient don't know that if he has, if he doesn't know if he has received the vaccine in last 5 years or not, you give the vaccine and you give the immunoglobulins also if it is a dirty wound. So earlier we used to give tetanus toxoid. Nowadays we are not giving tetanus toxoid, but we are giving tetanus diphtheria toxoid. In India from 2018 this has been started, okay. So this was all about the Clostridia. See you in the next session. God bless you. Keep watching.